summary of loss aversion. This summary slide, I want to summarize the advantages and disadvantages of the concept of loss aversion. As we have seen, a great advantage of loss aversion is that it rationalizes observations that cannot be explained by risk aversion or risk neutrality, for example. So we have seen settings where risk aversion and loss aversion make way different predictions, and the prediction of loss aversion is what actually happened in the real world or in the lab. However, loss aversion also has some disadvantages. As you have seen, the calculations were very complex, and this is even the case if we look at a rather simple setting as we did. An open question is how to choose the right reference point. So it might be the status quo, but the rational expectation could also form the reference point. When do you update your reference point in dynamic settings? So this ambiguity about the reference point is kind of problematic, because different reference points and different specifications of the reference point imply different prediction, which implies that the predictions of loss aversion depend on this reference point selection. Another question that comes up when you think about reference points is, can individuals deliberately choose their reference points? As you've seen, loss aversion assumes that you suffer when the outcome is worse than your reference point. So one strategy might be to try to shift your reference point to the lower end of the spectrum, so that you will not that often experience a loss. But it's absolutely not clear, to me at least, if in how far we are able to set our reference points deliberately, or if they are given by other actions. What is the takeaway for this loss aversion lecture? Loss aversion is a complex concept that rationalizes observations incompatible with risk aversion. Predictions, however, crucially depend on assumptions about the reference point. So loss aversion gives us some flexibility to explain important observations, but on the other hand, this flexibility also has a downside, because more flexibility means that you can explain more. And explaining more means that your predictions are not that precise.